welcome to another episode of WolfhouseChronicles. We're here today with too loud music. You're here with me, brother Tony Midnight over here. We got guests today, the beautiful Francine Raven.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
In the co-pilot seat here. We got Jaren over there, 1 minute movie review, Jaren over there. And we got Shane O'Shaughnessy.
That's O'Shaughnessy, yeah.
O'Shaughnessy.
I like O'Shag Nasty.
Shag Nasty, yeah.
Nasty.
Classic. O'Shag and Wagon, another nickname.
O'Shag.
No, that didn't stick. That was
All right, so today we're going to be talking about some movie reviews. I got reviews on some movies and other things of sort too, as well as Jaren. We got some movie reviews from Shane O'Shaughnessy, and Francine is along for the ride.
Yep, just here for the views.
Yay!
Yeah, you're a cheerleader.
Awesome. So let's get started first off with some movies that have recently hit the box office in the past couple weeks here. A movie like A Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
Fighting a massive invasion. Total devastation.
Or the monster's gonna get you? Is that what's the deal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're blind and they're they have very supersonic like hearing.
Are they mole men?
Sorry?
Mole men.
Moment.
You know, like they're mole people, I guess. That's the correct nomenclature.
You know, it's weird because they don't they kind of drop the movie kind of drops you right in the middle of the post-apocalypse.
Okay.
And so you're only like really watching the families of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. And so you don't see the creatures for the first hour of the movie, or maybe the first 45. But then like you kind of like see them kind of like lurking in the distance. You hear them, especially like with the surround sound in the theater. It's so amazing. Ooh. And when they do show them, they look like a combination between something from Cloverfield meets Stranger Things and a little hint of Resident Evil. And I'm like, wow, that was really well put together. Like,
so basically Demogorgon.
Come on!
Demogorgon, the baby monster ones from Cloverfield. And then like a hint from the liquor of from Resident Evil.
Oh, so these things climb walls and stuff, man.
No, it's just the way that they look, like the, you know what I mean, like just the way they look.
Long,
and the way
spindly legs.
Yeah, and they sort of have Velociraptor like growls and.
Well, at least they don't tool up like the Demogorgons. The Demogorgons. So.
No.
So does it give an origin as to like, so it's post-apocalyptic, like it's like the end of the world
is that a spoiler?
Yeah.
because of these monsters, like they're because of the creatures?
Yeah,
arriving?
they've killed and eradicated the what do you call it, anything that's just made sound. Even raccoons die in this one.
Oh.
I feel like that's all the retirees in my neighborhood. That's kind of what they want to do.
Yeah, so
Too loud.
This
Too loud,
family,
you
Too loud over
raccoons.
there.
so we follow this family, and they do hint that there are other survivors in like this one particular scene, but everyone has learned to live in silence. And what do you call it? This one family, especially John Krasinski and Emily Blunt and their kids, they actually know sign language because their one daughter is actually deaf. And the actress herself, who's the oldest daughter in the movie, she's actually deaf in real life, and they did a really, really good job. And I'm like, the movie is in subtitles, like 90% of it is sign language. They do have some speaking moments, but a lot of it is just like so well done. And even like I guess the family dynamic and like the drama, the human emotion kind of thing between that and just doing sign language, it was very moving. Just like to see them struggle with the factor, because a lot of people were arguing about the factor that they're in day 470 something, and they were like, wow, how was it even a smart idea to have a baby, in the middle of this whole thing? And the fact is that, I mean, it's hard to stay happy in in this post-apocalypse, and
how do you maintain a baby? Like, how do you keep that baby from crying?
That is where the whole middle of the movie, just like things just go to just crap. Just things just goes to hell. And like they do, like they were ready, they were prepped, they had like a whole gas, like a gas tank thing to like keep it asleep for a while. They had like a little box to like keep it under. They had like this soundproof basement and everything, but they didn't account for the fact that the baby came early. And the monsters were already lurking around their property because there's a scene where Emily Blunt's heading down the basement and she steps on a nail sticking out from the board,
and she rusty
drops
nails.
And she drops like whatever she had in her hand, and it makes the loudest sound ever, and then the monsters start lurking into the house. And then so this is very like suspenseful driven, especially Emily Blunt. She had like some of the most intense scenes in the movie, a lot of close calls, which were amazing. John Krasinski, who's very well known for the American version of The Office, this is his third feature, his first thriller, and he wrote, produced, directed, and acted in for this movie. So this is kind of like a big passion project.
Not to mention featuring his own wife.
Yeah, his own wife. Yeah, and they did this together. And their scenes together, like they were so beautiful. Like they were so beautiful together. Just like they make a great couple.
Off screen and on screen. I heard from, I think it was an interview on Conan, I think he did, where he talked about his wife that really insisted she playing that part.
Yeah,
she really insisted on playing that part.
And they're funny together. If you've seen their promos for, I think they were doing like a Omaze or Omaz promotion for this movie. They did like this little promotion thing. OMAZE. You know that program? I'm not sure. It's like they were doing a fundraising program at the same time. They're very like,
so kind of like a regular press junket kind of deal.
Yeah. So they were doing that, and they're just really funny together. They're fun. And in this movie, like some of their moments like together, like the dramatic scenes are so beautifully like I guess cry-worthy. They're very it's kind of romantic at the same time. Struggling in this apocalypse, and then at the same time like it's also terrifying. Just the whole movie-going experience. A lot of my friends that I went with, they were so terrified to eat their own popcorn because that's the only sound you could hear half the time. And what makes some of the scenes terrifying is when the screen focuses on the one deaf girl in the movie, you hear nothing. It's pitch silence. You hear maybe a little feedback from her hearing aid. And then it's just terrifying because like sometimes it would focus on her, nothing but silence, and then it would just the creature would come crawling out from like the bushes or something. It was freaky.
Oh my god!
It's like played on our sensories. Like
it really plays on all your senses.
One movie that where they would put the electricity in the seats when you watched the film?
Oh
back in
yeah.
the day?
Tingler.
The Tingler.
The picture is The Tingler, which I directed. And for the first time in motion picture history, members of the audience, including you, will actually play a part in the picture. You will feel some of the physical reactions, the shocking sensations experienced by the actors on the screen. I guarantee that The Tingler has more shocks per minute than my last film, The House on Haunted Hill. But don't be alarmed. You can protect yourself. When you see the picture, you will be told, and remember the instruction, how you can guard yourself from attack by The Tingler. And now may I show you a few scenes from The Tingler?
Jim Cass is a Tingler. It's an original. He was one of those gimmick movie makers.
Yeah.
So with the Tingler, people would sit down and watch his movie, and every time the Tingler would go out, the lights would go off. It was like, the Tingler's coming for you. Everybody watch out. Ah!
Now that's an experience.
And then they would have buzzers underneath the seats. All the seats. Well, not all the seats, but like certain seats. And it just, and it'd be like, thinking the thing is coming near them.
That's great.
All it is like a simple vibrator thing underneath the seat.
Well, that's a movie-going experience.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, right? They should bring that back.
Or the smell. What is it? A smelling one? Where they
Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision. That's
You had that.
They had
that.
Just
Scratch and
scratches-
sniff.
Yeah.
Here's some stickers.
Even
of
that.
movie.
Even what's it? The Exorcist. They had a gimmick where they gave out vomit bags.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that tradition goes back to like vaudevillian days, early stuff. Like because they used to make the earliest cartoons, they would have someone be behind the screen that would like when the cartoon went off the screen, somebody in that outfit would come out into the audience and
Oh,
such.
that's great.
Yeah, there was a lot of like interaction
Yeah.
with the cartoon on the screen because it
That's
was
right.
coming from vaudeville days of a lot more audience participation and such.
Yeah.
And so
It seemed a lot more fun back then. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it was
4D practical stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
and it was also kind of like geared towards the kids, so there was kind of like a Saturday
Yeah.
matinee feel to it. You know, you go in to watch Frankenstein, the Dracula, and the Mummy, you know, and you have all of these costume characters and stuff. You know, it's something that even it wasn't even on Halloween.
Yeah.
Usually you would see something like that on Halloween, but no, this is like during the course of summertime or something like that. So that's awesome, but at the same time, Quiet Place, that would have been something cool to do,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a little gimmick, something, you know.
Oh yeah.
You
No,
have-
it's funny because if I couldn't find the promo online, but then I went to watch a movie earlier. I mean, I went to watch another movie when they were promoting A Quiet Place, and it was one of those like little promo commercials where they tell you to be quiet in the movie theater. So they were playing this trailer, and at the same time they're showing. In the commercial, they show 3 people going into the movie about to watch A Quiet Place, and then you see one person, they go ahead and eat their popcorn, and then they're like all freaked out, and they're like very careful, and then somebody sits down in their seat, makes a little squeak, and then is very quiet. Somebody's phone goes off, and then the creature comes out and like snags them away.
Oh my God.
And then it was like a whole promotion, like be courteous when you're in the movie theater, silence your phone, stay quiet. A Quiet Place, April 6th.
Oh
great.
my god!
It was such a funny
I wish
promo.
I had seen that one, man. What movie was that?
I was watching Ready Player One when like a week before that came out. So.
We didn't get down. Oh, it was the first week of.
What, did you go to Kalamata or Maui Mall?
I went to my mall.
Yeah, Kalamata was playing it.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on. Of all the things, man. Come on, and have all the cool stuff, you know. But A Quiet Place is one movie I have to go and see to watch with my my sister. You definitely recommend it.
Yeah. Watched it twice. Loved
Like,
it.
it's one thing with the horror movies, right? I cannot even go watch it with my brother. He doesn't like horror movies.
No.
So my sister is the one that's gonna go watch Quiet Place with me. Definitely.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Awesome. Always kind of take the family out and everything. But you know, I'm kind of like on the hinge of like, do I save my money just in case, you know, I need it for Infinity War?
Did you buy your tickets for Infinity War?
Well, no, I want to get the matinee for Saturday. Is
Yeah,
that
but
available?
Did you? Yeah. It's been, the tickets for the entire weekend have been available for the last 2 months. when the new trailer dropped, because like that was the whole point about the new trailer dropping. The new trailer was an announcement saying that tickets are available for that weekend, that entire weekend, not just the early screenings, but the entire weekend.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get into the first weekend then.
Who knows? You know, you can still check.
Yeah, Ready Player One, I did book on Fandango.
Yeah.
It was the best thing ever.
You guys enjoyed it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
me and my brother, my sister, we went to watch that movie. You saw Ready Player One as well.
Yeah, I saw it twice only because it was one of those movies, and I don't like 3D, but this one I had to see it in 3D.
This is the Oasis. It's a place where the limits of reality are your own imagination. People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do, but they stay because of all the things they can be. I'm here talking to all of you now because our future's being threatened. Go, go, go! I just came here to escape, but I found something much bigger than myself. I found my friends.
What up, Z?
I found love. And now, people have lost their lives. No.
This is war. We're in control of the future.
Find him. Welcome to the rebellion, Wade. You don't tell anyone who you are. You can't use your real name. Hold on to something. This isn't just a game. I'm talking about actual life and death stuff.
What's going on?
Just practicing my Mario Kart!
Ask yourself, are you willing to fight?
And
wow.
I felt like I caught a lot more because like there's so much references and characters on the side that like end up popping out. You know, whether you're a video game like fanatic or a movie fanatic, like they all just came popping out.
Dude,
It was amazing.
The 80s references in this movie is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and the music. They had good music choices.
You know, the scene where, okay, I don't want to give too much away, but the scene where he's getting ready to go to the nightclub inside the Oasis.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are they dressed like? You know, he's just like, what, Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
No, wait,
See, I feel bad because I don't get the Buckaroo.
the Buckaroo Banzai? You
Yeah,
didn't get...
I don't know that. I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Says
What?
the youngest guy in
You
the
don't
room.
know what
Come
Buckaroo
on.
Banzai
So
is?
how old are
Wait a second. Hold on.
Are we all old?
I don't know what
Right.
Buckaroo Banzai is. So
Are
when
we
the
old?
when the character says,
You've seen it,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go dressed as my favorite movie, like my character from my favorite movie. I'm like, oh, that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Wait. Let's talk about Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai and the Journeys in the Eighth Dimension.
One, I don't know what it's
Okay.
about.
It's about Buckaroo Banzai, who is pretty much everything. He's a rock star. He's a physicist. He's a surgeon. He's like a top surgeon.
Total, President's on line 1, calling about is everything okay with the alien spacecraft from Planet 10, or should he just go ahead and destroy Russia?
Tell him yes on 1 and no on 2.
Which was yes, destroy Russia or number 2?
He's just a celebrity. He's everything in this world, and he's played by Peter Weller. And he's part of, I forgot what the name of the science group that he was raised by, but he gets into this car that's able to travel through the 8th dimension, which is the space between particles. And as he's traveling through this mountain, something latches onto the car. And it brings it out into this world, and that turns out to be John Lithgow, who is this alien entity, and also Christopher Lloyd is also in this film, and Jeff Goldblum as a cowboy.
He's a cowboy.
So yeah, the Hong Kong Cavaliers is his band / also Scooby Gang that hangs out with him and goes on all these adventures together, and basically. John Lithgow is trying to open the dimensional portal to bring all his people aliens over, and they're all named Mr. What was the last name?
I forget.
No.
Mr. Anderson.
No, close. They all have the same last name. Oh, it's so funny. It's an incredible movie because it's pretty much total comic book pop that came out, and it's like in a total weird time period that wasn't really doing anything, and like Peter Weller is just incredible in it.
Alan Barkin.
No matter where you are, no matter where you go, there you are. You know, like so many great lines and moments in this film. It's really, really just like it's such a weird niche nerd thing, and the producers of this, the guy who owned all the rights, like mysteriously disappeared with all the rights, from what I understand. That's why they can't make a sequel, even though they led it up to be this idea of like a serial.
Because I know that they're finally they're finally giving it the Blu-ray treatment. It's coming out like on Arrow edition. It's like really cool kind of thing. Like I just saw it pop up, and I'm like,
the DVD. The DVD is rare.
The DVD's rare.
Wow.
Again, the rights are all like in this weird tangle that. For the longest time, they couldn't put out anything for it. And there was even like at the time, I think Marvel put out a comic book that tied in with it, and that the comic book was actually in the movie because he's also a comic book superhero in the movie. Like Buckaroo Banzai, man.
Was this a 70s or
80s
movie?
80s movie, and it's just like it's got all these weird connections to like Illuminati type of ideas. What's it? Thomas Pynchon, like a lot of that kind of stuff. What's that one? Anyhow, a lot of like weird conspiracy type stuff. We're all wrapped into this like thing, and it's just a weird glimpse into this and totally weird world that you should just check it out, and you'll understand. Like you'll start noticing references to it by nerd culture like everywhere.
Yeah, like big time.
Everybody.
It's a really good movie. I love it. But you know, I was more of a Ice Pirates fan back in the 80s rather than Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
I like Ice Pirates.
Is that right? That's not a Bakshi film, is it? Is that no? What is Ice Pirates?
Ice Pirates is about actual galactic pirates.
Okay.
That have to save a princess.
Actual galactic pirates, not fake galactic pirates.
Actual galactic pirates.
Okay.
Yeah, actual. And you know, there's villainy in the galaxy. It's not anywhere near Star Wars, but it's really like.
You said it's Ice Pirates?
Ice Pirates, yeah. It was like the first science fiction comedy I ever saw.
The Ice Pirates. See startling special effects. See depravity in zero gravity. See glamour girls from another galaxy. See kung fu robots. And delight in the mysteries of the seventh world. The one place in the universe to get a decent glass of water.
Don't do that.
Insist.
How's it going? Oh, it's going great. How's it going with you?
The Ice Pirates. A totally spaced adventure.
I hear you say pirates, and all I'm thinking is T.J. Miller's character from Ready Player One, just making his first appearance. There's a few things I hate. That's pirates, steampunk, and there's that one where I totally forgot Chipotle or something. I don't know.
I think it was Chipotle, right? He doesn't like Chipotle. It's not natural. Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. It might not be.
But that's what is his name again? What is his name?
T.J. Miller.
That's the guy from Deadpool,
Big Hero 6, Cloverfield.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Oh no, wait, Transformers 4.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. What are you showing me?
The end credits, Buckaroo Banzai, where they're all just doing the classic walk up type of thing. Have you seen
the slow motion
Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou?
No,
Okay.
No, I haven't.
They mimic the same
great
walk
movie.
at the end, where they're all walking together and all joining together.
Oh.
It's iconic.
The music is great. I had this music playing as the last song for our reception for our wedding, so that we could all do the walk out together at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
remember
Jeff
any of that.
Goldblum as a cowboy.
Can I see Jeff Goldblum as a cowboy?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There you go. There he is.
Check it out, Vince.
Yeah, there's the guys.
Yeah, I don't remember this. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Peter Weller. Man, right after this, he did RoboCop and
Oh, okay, handsome.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, maybe.
That's why it's so great. It's like Peter Weller just picks these roles that are just all over the map. It's like later on in 90s, he was 93, he was Bill Lee in the Naked Lunch movie.
This looks so familiar.
I still like how Jeff Goldblum is still relevant.
Yeah. I mean, and here he's just having
Larkin.
fun as like pretty much Jeff Goldblum in this one.
Yeah, I always had the biggest crush on him since The Fly. I
He's
just thought he
incredible.
was amazing,
So
and
incredible.
gorgeous, and
Gorgeous
awkward and
and-
weird,
Yeah.
and like makes you feel kind of funny.
so every time I hear Jeff Goldblum, every time I hear
That's disgusting.
every time I hear Jeff Goldblum's name, I
it
keep
goes
thinking
on.
of
It's
Pineapple
not worth it.
Express. The one scene where he's talking to Saul. where
Oh
he's-
yeah.
He's like
The Jeff
no, it's
Goldblum
like the
impressions.
guys over there is doing the Jeff Goldblum impressions. What? Jeff Goldblum, man. Oh, sorry.
You broke your own rule.
Okay, so Ready Player One. What I got out of it is because me coming from the 80s, I had this bigger analogy of all of it. The whole 80s. I got the Zemeckis Cube. I got the Overlook Hotel.
Did you
references in
catch a
there.
lot of the music that they use? All the sound bites?
Yeah.
My God, that was amazing.
Dude, the music in this one is just unbelievable. I loved it. But I didn't even hear Rush because they used Rush in the preview.
Yeah, that's a great song too.
I didn't hear Rush. It's like Tom Sawyer Rush in the preview, but not in the movie. Kiss my butt.
One question I've got about the film is I've heard a lot, already just about what it's about and the references and such. How does Spielberg work as a director for this film? Because mapping Spielberg's career, what was the last movie? Like the last real movie I can think of was that, I feel
he
that
did the post.
Park.
He did the post prior to this.
He did the post.
The post.
What is that? See, these are things like the last real big one I remember is War of the Worlds, and then he kind of just Spielberg.
Jurassic Park.
That was way before. That was that's almost 30 years
Oh
ago now.
well,
I'm talking about,
he's talking about why he started doing movies like War Horse.
And the way that I see it is that when War of the Worlds really shows that he doesn't have much faith in humanity. Spielberg actually has a very cynical take on the hope for humanity, and it just kind of felt like, with what I understand about this film, having not read the book or seen the movie yet, is that this is his cynical take on our retro culture that's going on right now. Would you agree that that's what is pervaded in this film, or does he actually put forth no, this is a good thing that we're doing right now? Because it seemed kind of from the trailer, from the ideas, is that he thinks that it's silly that we are so enamored with our past right now, so enamored with retro culture, that we're actually kind of slaves to it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you say that because there is sort of that message, because there is a character in there named Holloway who's played by Mark Rylance, who's the creator of the Oasis. When he dies, he leaves this whole contest and like his fortune and his like the name to the company up to like the winners who can get through this. And then like the lesson that's kind of taught, and it's kind of taught in a way that's more Willy Wonka like.
Right, that's what I was about to reference. Also, it's like I keep hearing this like it's pretty much a new Willy Wonka.
It's Willy Wonka meets the Matrix. That's like the best way.
Mad World, right? Like where they basically that's a movie where everybody's racing to get to this prize. Right?
Yeah, but they literally only have the one car chase scenes if you want to compare it by.
But compare it more so like that point. It was like in Mad World. From what I understand, is that it was like a lot of the top celebrities at that time. All got together. And here it's not so much the top celebrities, but all these cultural iconic references are now all mushed together, moving forward to get to this one point.
Which is a movie I would rather watch than the god awful remake Rat Race.
Fair enough.
Okay,
yeah,
to be fair, Rat Race is what got me to watch It's a Mad World.
Stanley Kramer's asked us to do a commercial for his new picture, It's a Mad World. Now, there are 4 mads in the title, Ethel. We're all in the picture. Let's each hold up a mad and do it right. Here we go. Be sure and see. It's a mad.
Nad? Wait a minute. Where's my Mad? I'm one of the main stars of the picture.
Never mind about you. What about
Oh,
me?
be quiet, little man. Come on.
Don't
You gotta
get that
get
little
to
man.
Go on.
Nerves. Be sure and see. It's a mad.
Nad.
How come he gets one of those and I don't? Am I going to have trouble with you?
You got trouble. You got 7 people without Spencer Tracy. You only got 4 men. Oh, shut up!
Look, why don't we settle it this way? Why don't we just settle it in the justice of the kind thing? Like, let's go according to the people who have been on television.
Oh, now you're talking. Ladies
Well,
and
if
gentlemen.
that's the way you're gonna play it, I'll take 1 for being a Broadway star, 1 for being a woman,
And 1 for being a man. No, this is naughty. You're wrong. What are you doing?
You did?
Yeah.
For real?
I watched, because I didn't know anything about that. But when somebody told me that Rat Race was technically a remake, and I'm like, oh, I want to see it. So I bought the Criterion and I watched the, what is that, like 3-hour extended version that they didn't even polish up, because the Criterion edition has the theatrical cut, and then they have, I think, 30 minutes to an hour extended version that wasn't even polished up properly. Like, so you can actually tell, like when you're watching the extended cut, you can tell where like the theatrical cut of the movie like ends, and then like you see like all the additionals, like all the original negatives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like this movie is so extensive. All the car chase sequences are so like real. They're like nothing like Hollywooded up. They're
And it's a comedy.
And it's a comedy.
All about people chasing greed.
Can I give you like an analogy to what I feel all of this like nostalgia culture is? So I think it was maybe about 5 years ago. Me and my husband were walking down the cereal aisle and we're like, Fruity Pebbles. Holy shit, we haven't had Fruity Pebbles in forever. So we went home. I ate like 3 bowls of it. Just like, like I was so excited about it. Instantly like threw it up. And like, I was like, it still smells like delicious coming out. Like I feel like a lot of us is like regurgitating like ideas and concepts. Like we're just in taking it in so much, puking it up, and then like dogs wanting to eat it up again. Like just constantly recycling this like nostalgia. You know,
Right.
That's kind of what it reminds me of. Like we have all of these like where we want so much nostalgia, and I feel like there's a lot of movies that are really trying to market to our generation with knowing that we're kind of weak when it comes to that. Like we don't really necessarily want new stuff, like we want it, but we also don't really want to grow up in a sense. Like we really like who we were as children, and like that makes us feel really awesome. Although no one wants to eat their own vomit. I don't know why I said that.
It's scary because you and Shane haven't seen Ready Player One, but you guys are really digging in between the lines of Mark Rylance's character. It's scary. Like there's a scene where they're watching of his past, because like there's a part in the Oasis where they look into Halliday's past in order to get the clues. And so there was a scene where him and Simon Pegg were having a small little argument, and he's like, well, you know, our game, the whole Oasis program, like it's moving forward, it's evolving kind of thing. And he's like, well, I wish it could be the way it used to be. Like, instead of going forward, I wish we could go, I wish we could go back really fast, step it pedal to the metal, just like Bill and Ted. And then I was like, that is such a great little reference, little moral.
That reference right there, I was like this. Like I so wanted to just jump up and say, "Wild Stallion!"
You should have.
I'm Bill S. Preston,
Esquire. And I'm Ted. Oh, great. Bill, here, you take it. Okay. And I'm Ted Theodore Logan. Yeah! And we're Wild Stallions!
But I think I saw photos of them doing like a Bill and Ted possible
3.
sequel. Yeah.
Oh, they are doing 3. That's confirmed for sure.
Oh, so excellent.
It is.
I love it.
Wow. Can't imagine Wild Stallions.
So is it?
all
Do
these
you
years.
going on to this trip that we're with the nostalgia? Do you think that we are following? There's like I think a school of thought that thinks that we are in a completely culturally devoid area right now, and that what we're doing is like mining back to that time of childhood. Maybe because we're oversaturated as adults, we're going back to that time period where everything still felt new, fresh, or like original, sort of, kind of. But then I don't know. It's interesting because the 80s was such a time period where that was you talk about like Facebook marketing stuff right now to us. 80s was like all culture was like marketed directly to it. All of that stuff was created to sell the toys.
For sure.
And like you think about how I don't know. Somebody was talking about like just food culture, where like today you walk into a store and you're like, oh, excuse me, do you have the gluten-free, free-range bread that where back in the day it was like, do you have that popcorn that turns green when you pop it open? Like all this like all of the garbage that they like just shoved onto us, and we all like really loved it. And it was like colorful and weird and such, and I don't know. It was like watching some 80s movies. I'll talk about that later, but like. The 90s was such this era, like I felt like as a kid, like that was the pinnacle, like that was the promise of what like American culture, and maybe just even more so in hindsight, American white culture was promised at that time, was this like period where it was all like easy, everything was like handed to you, you could pretty much just like engage in this like base reality of like everything is handed to you, and I don't know, like it's weird.
Do you remember, like, I feel like in the 90s, the biggest insult you could be was a poser.
Right.
Like, that's that was the lowest of low. Someone who wasn't genuine about what they were into. Like, if you were into some kind of subculture, you had to be, like, way into that particular subculture. Yeah. And I think that, like, part of that carries on for our generation into being adults. I think we realize that we can shape what being an adult means. Mm-hmm. And so, like, what is genuine to us is, like, those things as a kid. Like, why do we have to give that up just because we're adults? Like, I feel like that's part of it, too. Like, we still want that, so why do we have to give it up? There's no reason. Like, we're paying our bills. Like, let us fucking watch cartoons all day.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's the reason, and that's why I get all giddy on Saturday morning when I watch real Ghostbusters on Netflix.
I mean, I guess it's weird for me because, like, I guess because, like, I have a lot of, like, I still live with my parents, for one, and I have a lot of like older adults that like especially family like they're sometimes like they talk down on me because I haven't gotten to a point where a lot of them in their time haven't like for one, living by myself, two, having a job better than what I have now. Mm-hmm. I guess like they just want me to be a lot better, but then like part of me is like saying, it's hard to like let go of what I was actually into about 10 years ago, because I still am.
Yeah, if you're still
it's
into
like that's kind of that's who I am. And then sometimes I go to work where I work with people who are or as old as like my parents, and then it scares me because I see some of their like personas and like they're not 100% like grown up, they still have like sort of, I don't want to say mentality, but like some like the most colorful personalities as someone my age would, or younger actually. Yeah. So it's I guess in a way it's like everybody is who they are, and you just can't shape that with an age or what society demands from you.
Well, and also, I mean, your job is like your 9-to-5 job doesn't define you. It doesn't have to. It can for some people, but I mean, there's like how many hours after work that you have to define who you are as a person. Like, it's more than that, I think. And yeah, I mean, we're all gonna we all do it in our own time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we want to do is we want
Right.
to slow it down. We're not ready to pardon me. But like, if you watch The Golden Girls, like how old were those ladies? And they look so old. Like they're supposed to be in their 50s?
Yeah.
And like, that blows my mind. Like I have friends who are in their 50s and they're like rocking bods, like super all into like what they're into. There's no way in the world that you would compare those two and say like, what social standards were for what an older person is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like that show 30 something that was in the 80s. Do you remember that? Like I'm 30 something now and like
Right. That
what?
seems so much older.
It seems so old.
know,
like there's
right?
no way.
Yeah. I think maybe like what we are experiencing that probably our kids will not be experiencing is like that it was on TV and then there was like really no way on how to like watch that again, like, or if it was like it happened.
Yeah.
But now everything is happening all at once, right? And we are the ones that are like looking back and be like, oh, rediscovering all of our toys and all of our like treasures and such like that. Whereas like going forward, I mean, it's just going to be this level playing field that there won't be a nostalgia soon because it's all accessible.
For
all
sure.
of it at once,
Yeah, he's not like my kid's not gonna have the same feeling that I'm gonna have when I watch Howard the Duck for the first time.
Right.
Like, because he's been surrounded by so much really cool stuff already. So for him, it's like a part of like, oh yeah, that's cool, and I'll watch it he'll watch it a handful of times, whatever he's into. But he's gonna, he's filtering out what he's really into, like, and it's kind of shocking, like, to see what movies he's totally gravitating towards. Like, he's way into like the Class of Nukem High, which was like, oh okay, that's awesome, and he like loves Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
So like he is getting some things and he's having his own experiences of it, which are going to be different than having experience at with the whole generation of people simultaneously for the first time.
Yeah.
He's going to discover it and then maybe show his friends, so they're going to have their little subculture of discovering that type of art, from back then. But it's true, they're not going to have that same feeling that was there.
That's why if I have my own kid, I like the first thing I'm going to introduce them to, or if it's a girl, like I was like, I'm just going to show the old stuff first.
Yeah, and why not?
Yeah.
I want to raise my kids with Looney Tunes. That's how I was raised.
Animaniacs?
Animaniacs, yeah.
Animaniacs. Hello, nurse.
I just gotta say this one. Howard the Duck freaked me out when I was a kid.
Which one?
Howard the Duck.
Oh, I love Howard.
Really gross film.
It was terrifying. The guy, what's his name? That really amazing actor who was possessed with the alien, with the guy, the gingery guy with the mustache.
Yeah, no, he's from Ferris
so
Bueller
good.
Day Off.
Yeah.
He's a principal.
He's so good.
Guy.
But that soundtrack was rad.
Yeah.
It was Thompson. What was her name? Something.
That wasn't really her singing. That was her singing?
I want to say it in my mind it was, but
Leah Thompson, yeah.
Oh.
What is that song that she sings in the beginning? It's like Hunger City. Right?
Yeah,
Here in Hunger City. It's so good. I love it with the chains and everyone's just like super punk rock. Like I remember seeing anyone like that in real life, but like seeing like that type of culture, like that Cyndi Lauper punk rock, super vibrant culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Such a dream come true.
That was one of my... I learned to not be afraid of that freaking guy, because when he got possessed, that was when I started like freaking out. Yeah. He was like slowly turning, and he's got like a large freaking tentacle coming out of his mouth, and it's sticking into the freaking lighter, the lighter thing, just to get power.
The dangers of a single girl living alone in a big city.
Yeah.
That's Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
That's Howard the Duck.
You guys are pulling all these elements, and I haven't seen Howard the Duck, and I'm just like,
oh,
this
it
sounds
so
like a
good.
horror movie.
It's so good. I love it.
Weird and
Some people
gross.
hate it.
Like
I love it.
it's like dark, and like the lighting is all dark. Yeah. Colors are just like browns and greens and red. Like it's just like the aesthetic is just like really dirty.
It was like a dirty city, and a single girl who's a musician, just trying to make ends meet and make it as a musician, and finds a duck from another dimension. Yeah. And then just madness ensues. It's pretty good.
Trapped in a world he never made.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like it was Earth, but it was like a different type of Earth. Kind of.
No, yeah. So he comes from Duck Earth, pretty much. Like, that's what Marvel So the Marvel comics that's based off of written by Steve Gerber. The earlier stuff is like Marvel's real late 70s, early 80s satirical, cultural satire comic. It's really well written for that time period. I really enjoy the comic. The movie, though, I don't. It's kind of that. It's got a bit of that, right? It's got a weird slant on what reality is.
Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, considering the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy has had cameos of Howard the Duck, what would you guys want to see if they ever did a movie now?
Of Howard the Duck?
According to the comic books.
Yeah, more closer to the comic books. And something that was like directly more really hard cynicism, satire, something that was like not exactly like not Deadpool level of goofiness. Like Howard is a very serious duck, he's like pretty straight edge, just trying to make it, amongst all these humans, that are just being awful themselves. But like in the comic, is he also, Gerber, before he died, like did a 2000s run too, and was able to lampoon a lot of stuff going on that. It was Marvel's early like foray into like it was their Max series, so it was like more adult. And I don't know, it would be fun to be able to see something that was really biting, like really harsh, like.
The original one though, I mean, Tim Robbins acting in. Oh come on, give it up.
I mean, always
Tim
Robbins.
With this ponytail. Good job, Tim Robbins. Such a nerd,
man.
Such a spineless nerd in that movie. It was awesome.
I don't know who played Howard though. I think it was one of the Ewoks.
I don't think so. I think it was just a puppet. Yeah.
No.
What? Yeah.
No, it was a midget.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and one of the
little
first
people. We talked about this a year ago.
Sorry, little person. It was a little person, and the head was robotic. Henson.
Yeah.
Henson robotic stuff. Yeah. But the CGI stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't know where they're gonna go with that character. If they do anything with it,
I feel like they're just giving it a little test out. Like, oh, here's a little cameo.
Yeah.
But if anything, like that would be kind of interesting to see.
He's like pretty much like the closest they've gotten to any other fourth wall breaking type characters. Like I would love to see a She-Hulk movie come out so much. Because another one, especially the Dan Slott run from the early 2000s, where she is just a really incredible lawyer, and but also struggling just being a woman and deciding, how to be superhero versus just being a woman herself. And but then like the Byrne era from the 80s, she was like straight up like arguing with the readers and with the editors and such of the comic, and so it would be interesting if they were able to do more of that. And
well, who knows? Marvel's probably kind of headed down that path anyway. I mean, we didn't even think that like they were going to do a Black Widow movie, and now they are.
When?
I was like, well, I know.
It's taken them this long to have a female led character movie.
Well, to be fair, they have their writers. They're still trying to confirm their director. So right now, right now it's just confirmed that it's happening.
We got Venom at the end of the year.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to Tom Hardy, man. Let's not talk about that.
We got
Ant-Man and Wasp. Scarlett Johansson. Oh no. No.
Ant-Man and Wasp.
No.
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Evangeline Lilly. Oh, she can't act at all. She's stuck.
She's stuck in lost. She's lost. She's lost.
The Hobbit movies.
She's lost in the Shire, right?
Yeah. No, that scene. First of all, her character is just egregious. Like an elf and a dwarf. No, it's not. No, they don't mix. And then the scene where they just added in where she has to save the other dwarf. Who, I don't know why he needs to be saved, but she's just rubbing leaves on her face and going, "Kinsfoil!" Oh! That's the only memory I have of that movie because it just overcompensated everything else in that horror.
Which one was this?
It was like this is the second Hobbit film. The second one.
There was a second one?
Yeah, so there's 3 Hobbit films.
They stretched out one book into three
so
3-hour
the first
films.
one, I was like, okay, I can kind of see where they're adding in a lot of background detail that Tolkien had kind of written. Sure. And then the second one is like, let's add Evangeline Lilly because we got the Burpers. And that's the
And then Battle for
they
the
have
Five
to have a love interest? No.
There doesn't have to be a love interest in every film.
It
kind of takes away from things.
It's a children's book.
And then Battle of the Five Armies, they stretch out what is probably maybe the last possible 20 pages
They
into
surf
a 3-hour
on,
film.
They surf on gold. They surf on gold. It's just like the sharks
Everything's
are jumping
violence.
everywhere. Like it's just keep jumping the sharks throughout the entire.
Which one's rated R?
Huh?
Is it the last one?
The last one, if you find the extended cut of Battle of the Five Marbles.
So I don't know why Marvel has it in them that like I mean like it's just why does Scarlet Jo like that's the only thing that we've got going for us. Now we've got like Evangeline and it's just like there are so many more powerful women actors like out there
absolutely.
so many more.
We got Domino coming up in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, she'll be like a bit character probably, you know, and that's not Marvel Studios either. That's
Sony, yeah.
Sony.
Like Sony.
No, it's Fox. Fox is Deadpool, and like it's just egregious that like it's still the only breaking the mold was Black Panther, and those ladies in that were incredible.
Wonder Woman,
and
Wakanda forever.
Okay,
we're going back. Yeah, but it's just. I'm not looking forward. It's just like the first Ant-Man movie was such a throwaway too. Like it was going to be this amazing Edgar Wright film. I was really looking forward to it because it's Edgar Wright. At that point, had done no wrong from what I had seen from his like Simon Pegg collaboration.
I know. I heard a lot of his concepts that he presented at Comic-Con were just thrown out the window.
They just
because the studio wanted wanted a different vision,
and it became like an okay film. But it's just like why even bother if you're just gonna put out like I think at that point they had just sunk enough money into it that they needed to put out some project. But then why are they doing a sequel? Like is it? I don't know.
Sorry, one thing I'm not looking forward about Infinity War is all the comedy.
Yeah.
Because like even though it's a dark story, like the biggest turnoff for me in Age of Ultron is that they gave too much leisure time for the characters to make jokes. Yeah. And I saw like as far as what the Infinity War TV spots are going for, like if you watch the trailer, it's dark. If you watch the TV spots, there's comedy, and I do not favor that at all.
The Star-Lord clip for the TV commercial.
Not a fan of it. Not a fan of like I'm sorry, but like if you're gonna like if they spend too much time with that, you take too much away from your villain. But yet again, that's why they're doing a back-to-back of Avengers movie. You know, this is not gonna be the end of the story. This movie's gonna stop you because it's it's 2 hours and 40 minutes, and then they're gonna stop you right there because there's so much characters, there's so much story, and then they're gonna give you Avengers 4 next year.
Yeah, so we're ready for the next Avengers, and that's when they're gonna bring out the Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer and Deadpool and the X-Men and
actually Fantastic Four is still on talks of rebooting again. At least Captain Marvel.
They need
is
to get
still
their
coming.
comics going out again. Like I know that they are coming out with Fantastic Four comics finally again.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't know if you knew anything about what they did with the comics. So basically, Marvel was like, well, we don't own the rights to the movie, so we're not going to put out the Fantastic Four comic book anymore. And they just like ended this like run that had been going for 50 years, and like they were just like, let's just kill off the first family or like just make them disappear.
Really?
And now that they're back in the fold, now they can bring them back into it, and it's just like, well, of course you're not going to be able to. I mean, it was. I think it really like not to say that the movie wasn't what it was. I haven't seen it still, but apparently it was really trash.
No,
but, like,
the recent one?
The recent one.
Garbage.
Yeah, garbage.
Total garbage. I watched it. I tried to give it a shot. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go check it out for myself. Maybe like it's not as bad as everyone seems. No, it was so terrible. Dialogue was terrible.
I'm glad that Michael B. Jordan was able to find redemption through
Black Panther.
Yeah, because he's such an incredible actor.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Wakanda. All right.